There are important differences in making shrimp stock or other shellfish stock from making veal or chicken or beef stock. These are often not mentioned in recipes that call for shrimp stock, so here they are. It's not difficult, but it's important to make it correctly. We have our collected shrimp shells and some baby shrimp, bay shrimp as they're called, and we're going to begin browning these shells in olive oil. The pan is already warm. I'm going to put in about a tablespoon of olive oil. And it doesn't matter, I know some of these are already pink because they were cooked shrimp. It won't make any difference in the end. We're going to cook these way beyond the normal cooked stage of shrimp. After 3 or 4 minutes, you get some sediment starting to stick to the bottom of the pan. The shells are all pink now, that's for sure. Now we're going to deglaze it with a little vermouth. You can use white wine. Vermouth adds some herbal notes. About an ounce. Make sure you pick up all of the fond off the bottom of the pan. And you're going to cook this until it's dry. It won't take long. The pan's hot. A minute. Okay, now it's starting to get fond building up on the pan again. And here's where we're going to add the passata, the tomato puree. And the bay leaf and that little dash of paprika. And we're going to cook this for about 2 more minutes. We want to get this very thick, especially cook the tomato sauce way down. Okay. Now, taking it right to the edge here, you see this sticking to the bottom? It isn't burnt yet, but it's getting close to that stage. That's fine, that's what we want. Now we're going to add in the carrot, onion, celery, and garlic clove. And as the moisture from these starts to come off, that'll add enough moisture we can pick up the fond from the bottom of the pan again. Get this up and continue cooking it a little bit more. This is how we're getting the depth in there before we add the shrimp, the shrimp meat, which is going to really contribute to the shrimp flavor. This is depth, and we're getting some gelatin, of course, from the shells. Make sure that you rub it around, pick up that fond. Don't let it actually burn on the bottom. Use the moisture from these vegetables as they start to cook to pick up the fond. You can also add, if it's not happening fast enough and you start worrying about it, you can add a little salt. Try not, you don't want your stock to be salty. You can add 1/4 teaspoon of salt to it, and that will help the moisture come out of the vegetables. And it gets close to the burn point anyway. Now we're going to add the water in. And of course you scrape the bottom, pick up all that fond. The whole trick to this thing is that you want to get the flavor as dark and rich as possible with the shells, and then get the high notes using the shrimp meat. So this is, you can feel with the spatula that you're scraping with, you can feel that you've got you've scraped the bottom, you've got it all off. Now we're going to add this frozen shrimp. Whether they're defrosted or not, whether the bay shrimp are defrosted or not, doesn't really make any difference because they're going to instantly defrost once you add them to this hot water anyway. Okay, give it a stir, bring it up to a simmer, and let it just simmer slowly. It's important to wait until you actually have a simmer like this before you count the time. Make sure that you don't start counting the time right away. It doesn't count unless it's actually bubbling like this. 10 minutes, halfway through the simmer time, I'm going to add the dried herbs. Stir them in, and we'll let the simmer continue for the other remaining 10 minutes. When the simmer time is over, give it a spin in the blender. That's enough. Now we'll pass it to the scale. Make sure you use a very fine mesh strainer, so you don't get a lot of particles into the final product. Also look for my cocktail book, Cocktails of the South Pacific and Beyond, Advanced Mixology, available through Amazon online.